Hello everyone, thanks for today. So today I'm going to be doing the Black Eye Challenge that was first came up with by Arrrash, which I'll just go ahead and give him a shout out here. I'll go ahead and also put his original video in the link in the description. So I saw his challenge, and basically he was going through Crow's Nest with only using the Black Eye Skull on and actually beating the mission with just the Black Eye Skull in his hands. I thought it was a really cool idea, and I wanted to try and do it, but I wanted to do it a little bit harder than what he did it, and I wanted to do it on Legendary. His rules were Heroic and Black Eye Skull and only use the skull as a weapon, where I want to do the same thing, but just do it on Legendary. So here I am, doing it on Legendary, and as you can see by the timer here, have had tons of attempts at this part. And something that's really cool about this is you can actually use these barricades and move them, and they won't shoot at you. Bubble shields and everything are really big into getting the enemies with the Black Eye Skull and basically taking advantage of the melees. So bubble shields are huge when going through this section. With this, the jackals weren't too hard to take out, and the grunts weren't too hard to take out if they're like alone, if there's only like 2 or 3. But it gets hard whenever there's multiple, and this is when I was like, okay, I need to slow down here. I still have my marine, but I can't get through to the next section without moving this barricade. So at this point, I've taken out the few grunts that were in the way into the path to these jackals. Now I could show you more of me just getting this barricade to the jackals, because I promise you on Legendary, without this barricade it is literally impossible to actually get close to them and melee all of them. The carbines rip you and shred you on Legendary, and you can't, it's not even possible to try and do it, because I've tried it multiple times and I could never get past this section. And the worst part is you don't even get a checkpoint. So in between like the beginning of where you open the door in the warthog into this point. So I was being super careful here. As you can see, I think it's kind of hilarious. I thought this was a brilliant idea, and really the only way you could actually get to do this. There's 1 grunt and like 5 jackals there, so it's being really careful. And the thing that's cool about this barricade is you can whack enemies through it, not like by the front of it, but on the side of it. So I see this jackal on my right, and I'm like, okay, I just got to get this barricade as close as I possibly can to him, and while also at the same time not knocking over the barricade as I go through. So if you actually whack the enemy, there's a chance it could hit the barricade over. So this is a very important move here. I did hit him, and they start freaking out, and then I start freaking out as well. I'm like, where's it going to come at? So I saw him there, and he was just eating my melees there. And as you can see, Legendary, just wanted to point that out there, with my controller disconnected. And to go ahead and bring it back to the point here, I didn't want to end up dying because my controller died. Like, sometimes it takes a second for the game to pause once your controller dies, so I put in new batteries and went ahead to resume because I did not want to die at this point. It took me forever to get this barricade moved up. And after a few melees, they were just coming and being nice to me. There were actually 2 grunts there. They were being super nice to me. I went ahead and went out here because he was just shredding me. And luckily, I did not die, and that jackal didn't get that headshot there, otherwise I would have been dead. So I was freaking out here. It took me an hour, basically, to get to this point. So this next section is just through the hangar. I actually did this flawlessly, not to toot my own horn here, but my first try through the hangar is very simple to do. It's basically because you have some other Marines distracting them, and the enemies are spread out. They're not all congested, so you have time to pick them off one by one, and it's not too big of a deal. They still do hit you a good amount, but something else I found cool was the little, I guess the basement of the hangar, the little underbelly of the hangar. There's actually a few times where I was able to actually hit the enemies through the bottom, which I thought was pretty cool, and luckily I got my shields back and stuff like that. Also, with these drop shits coming in, I had to take advantage of them dropping out, especially the brutes, because the brutes typically shred you the fastest. So I was just waiting here, camping here, and I was like, alright, I'm gonna go take out this enemy, whatever drops, and then just keep on whacking people as they come out. So I knew there was another phantom behind me, so I had to be careful, and plus their cannons on the phantoms. Legendary, you gotta be super careful. So I was just, I heard enemies, and you can also get a few whacks on them like this. I was able to whack them through that barricade there. The melee in this game is kind of broken sometimes, thankfully, in a good way for this challenge. So I was able to actually get my shields back and actually damage them. Bubble shield. I take advantage of any bubble shield and get as full time as I possibly can on that, because the enemies cannot shoot you while you're in there. And also taking out the brute causes the grunts just to run around, so go ahead and whack them and go ahead and eliminate them from the game. So another Phantom comes in, and I was a little late to this one, so I decided to head towards the basement and get some cover. The Marines were distracting them, I'd say, at the best in this part, but luckily I was able to take advantage of the situation and kill a few more grunts. Now, again, the bubble shield. I had to take advantage of that. The grunts that are kind of tan or gray are the most annoying part of this, honestly, because they take 2 whacks, which brute you can kind of expect, right? But they kind of like cower once they get whacked once. But these gray grunts, you can whack them and they'll still be shooting you, which is ridiculous. Another wave coming in, and I was like, no checkpoint, I gotta be super careful here. So I was really being cautious here. They dropped in, I'm like, thank you, thanks for the free kills. And continued on, saw a brute up there, and this is when I discovered where you could actually hit some people from underneath. As you can see there, I hit that grunt. It has to be perfectly timed. It has to be while you're basically at the top, at the peak of the jump. You have to whack. Brute dropped down there, real easy kill there, thankfully. And now I'm just trying to eliminate as much as I can. Play basically peekaboo with these enemies here from the basement. Now these grunts are ready to mutilate me at any time, so I'm just trying and figure out what to do here. And like I said, this section is just patience, really. A lot of this had to be patient. You just had to be patient until the enemies were at the right spot for you to eliminate them. So like I said, just camping it out here. The commentary at this point is just really just watching see what happens here. But that ground was getting a little bit far away from me, so I decided to try and take a jackal out from the bottom. And I was having a tough time because he was kind of right next underneath that iron bar rather than the floor. I couldn't really get him clearly there, and I just wanted to be careful. I was able to get that grunt. He was not expecting that, and I was like, okay, we're getting low on enemies. I think I may have hit him there, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and decide to push him. I think he's by himself. I'm going to eliminate him, and basically I heard the pelican drop, so I'm like, heck yeah, let's freaking go. First try. I was super stoked about that. And as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, I do have the timer that also proves that I didn't skip or change difficulties or anything along those lines. So I'm hoping you guys enjoying the video so far, but we'll go ahead and proceed on to the next section. So for this section, I was actually really worried about basically coming into it. I knew you open the door, your Marine gets captured by the drone, and you basically have this long fight, and all I have is this black eye skull. There were these 2 Marines that I was actually just right at not too long ago that trail in behind you behind the door. So I went ahead and pushed them closer up so they can actually shoot the enemies, but they are very wishy-washy. Sometimes they'll shoot, sometimes they won't. So you got to kind of balance it out and try and get them provoked into shooting the enemies, because they actually do a good job. Problem is, all my other Marines that were out here earlier have already died. So I'm playing peekaboo with these drones. The ones on the wall won't shoot, but the ones on the floor will. And they, as you can see, they're super aware. Hello, legendary, I guess. So I was basically hopping back and forth between my Marines, because I want them to shoot at them, and they're not. And you can't really whack them too hard, otherwise they'll die. But I did actually provoke him enough to actually start going out. And I was like, all right, gotta take advantage of the situation. Go, 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 go. So he comes out and he eliminates a few. He's just going all in right now. But he's a Marine. He retreats. Kills 3 for me. I'm like, thanks, bud. This is a very long section, and if I was to actually show you every single bit of it, it would take ages. So I'm trying to make this a shorter video for you guys, so you don't have to sit here and be bored. But I saw an opportunity, I believe, on this part, and I wanted to actually attack, and my teammates still killing them, thankfully. The one that I let out is being awesome, but the other one is just being annoying. That scared the crap out of me. Watch out for those turrets. I thought I was going to die because I was on no health, and luckily, with that health, I was just like, I'm still alive. I was actually scared at this point that I'm like legit one shot at this point because that turret just hurt me. So again, trying to mess with that Marine. He's just like, nope, not having it today. I don't feel like doing it. So at this point, I decided just to risk it for the biscuit. Come in, dodge it, weave, dodge and weave. Got that, and I'm like, all right, we're good. We're good from here. And luckily the Marines got the bugs that were on top, so I was able to finish this section. So this has to be one of the harder challenges I've done, but I have done lasso and some speedrunning. So luckily some RNG, I know a little bit about the enemies. So here, instead of fighting every single enemy, why not just rush it in? So I rush it, and usually that brute will drop a regen here. This is insane. This is an insane part. A lot's going on. I need to kill the brute chieftain, that way the door will actually open. So he loses invis. I'm like, alright, I gotta kill this guy. He just destroyed the regen. He dies. I come in here, just send it. Just send it. Just keep whacking. Keep whacking. I'm luckily still alive. Got the back smack on that guy. Whack that guy, and whack this guy to death. And I proceed on to the next section. I'm flipping out because that was just pro tactics there. And I was super happy that I was actually able to pull that off and proceed on to the next section. So for the barracks, they had some challenges here. I don't even know.
Please! For the last time. Get
Look out! There's more! Hey! Hey! Catch!
I caught his scent.
This was the last part of the barracks, the last big section there without a checkpoint. So after I just got that grenade, I got a checkpoint on the last section and proceeded on to continue using the bubble shields to my advantage. So as you can see, it actually wasn't too bad, honestly. This is actually one of the easier sections and was able to take out these brutes. Now this, I had some trouble initially with the brute chieftain with the fuel rod cannon. I had my teammates shoot them a good amount here, and I heard another bubble shield, so I just ran straight in, like I always do. And I was able to backsmack him, and I know the enemy's movements pretty well after years of playing Halo, so at this point, I was just able to whack him out and just finish it off. So, use the regen to the advantage as much as I can. I thought I was going to die there because they both had plasma rifles there, so I decided to take some cover here and not push it too far. And just camp out back here and let my teammates take a few shots. So I do hear the brutes' shields break because I think actually the Arbiter or one of my teammates broke their shields or something happened. I don't know how the shields broke, but I heard it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go and attack them with their shields are down and they don't have shields. So I do a little bob and weave in here, see him there, whack him, and then I'm like, okay, I should be able to get him. He shouldn't be able to shoot fast enough, and the Arbiter distracts him. And I was worried about those jackals, but they died again from the crazy grenades by the Marines. So I went ahead and continued up the elevator, and that's the first brute I just killed right there. And this section wasn't that bad as well. Really, this brute just mocked me. He's like, "Ah, you can't touch this." So he gets away, but luckily he dies, and the Arbiter helps me out here. So go ahead and take advantage of them just drop packing in. I was super scared for that trip mine, and bam! I just wanted to show you that because that's like the luck of Legendary. So I showed you a few failures here just to show you how hard the challenge is at times. You think everything's looking good, but at times it isn't. So, got hosed down a few times. Just showing you a few failures here, just so that you can understand how hard this can be at times.
Shake them off.
I was actually trying, there's a speedrunning tactic to get on top of this Pelican to actually ride up top and actually just destroy a lot of those people up there, but unfortunately I wasn't able to hit it, and at this point I was just like, alright, I'll just wait for them to jump down. I'm not in a hurry here, so went ahead and whack that brute. And I love the jetpack brutes because when they die, they just fly forever. And at this point, I was just waiting for them to come down. And then I was like, all right, something's wrong here. There they are. And Luckily, the Arbiter was a good distraction, and he just eliminated himself there. And on Legendary, they love throwing their spike grenades, so it's really easy to take these guys out. Occasionally, on my past few attempts, they, they were able to get a stick on me occasionally, but the back smacks are so satisfying on these guys. He falls off the edge of the map with a jetpack, which is kind of pathetic. And at this point, I knew there's also this glitch where the enemies will just keep on coming out regardless of they're just dedicated. They're like scripted to come out at that pace, and you can just whack them and they'll still commit to that. That was one of the farthest back smacks I've ever seen, and I was able to eliminate these enemies and move on to the next section. For this part, I wasn't expecting to be as hard as it was, but I couldn't have killed all the enemies with the beam rifle, jackals, and all the enemies that were here. It's kind of like the very first room of the mission, but on steroids. So luckily with some jumping skills that I have and using some speedrunning tactics that I know, I was able to dodge a lot of these enemies, and they couldn't really shoot me that well. I got up here, and this is where I kind of collect my thoughts and trying to determine when I can drop down and book it towards the door. I got shot by that grunt, and I'm like, no, I have full shields. This is the best opportunity I have. I need to take advantage of this. So I dropped down, used that box as cover, shift to the right, and luckily they couldn't react fast enough for me, and I was getting shot in the back by a few needles, and I luckily survived to get to this part. Continuing off here, this was also another very hard section because I had no shields coming into this, and the grunts were very painful at times. Sometimes they were unpredictable, basically, and they really want me dead. This is definitely legendary, as you can tell by how they're shooting and how crazy everything is. I dodged that grenade. At this point, I just wanted to actually get on top of the pipes, but I couldn't do that, and I'm like, crap, I'm down here. Maybe I can pull something off from down here. And then I realized, hey, I can hit them through the floor and actually really tick them off. So his shields are gone, and here's the other one. And these brutes were very troublesome. They have brute shots, regens, everything, you name it. And I was trying to hit him, and I luckily hit him, and I thought I could take advantage of the regen. He's just popped down there for me, so I went ahead and knocked him out. And then the other one, free kill. I was like, all right, this is going well. I can do this. So I don't know what was going on with the brute chieftain there with the fuel rod, but I had to be careful because there was one grunt behind me. So I wanted to take him out, but also dodge the fuel rod. And again, the gray grunt being able to be a tank, basically dodge everything, or not dodge everything, but have tons of health. And I went ahead here and went ahead. It was a 1v1, and I knew the guy on the turret up there would not shoot at his teammate because his teammate and I were too close. At this point, went to my original plan, got up here to be able to dodge his fire and not just run it full force in there because I didn't want to die and get hosed down, because there's a great possibility that would happen. I knew I needed to drop down, just hit the button and run away. So drop down, hit the button, take cover behind it for a few seconds, and then proceed on to the next part.
A service elevator in the hangar. Head downstairs.
So that is it for the challenge, guys. Basically, from here on out, I'm just running straight through, trying to get some shields as I'm running through to make sure I don't die. This is actually a very easy part. The end of the mission is very easy. I only died once, and that was by accident. So it was a pretty easy part. And for the rest of the video, I'm just going to be showing myself finishing it off. I want to say a huge thanks to Arrrash for giving this incredible idea, this incredible challenge. I have got all the achievements on Master Chief Collection, and I'm a big Halo fan. So when I saw this challenge come out, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I was like, I want to try and do this challenge as well, but take it up just one notch. And sometimes I have creativity, sometimes I don't. So it was a really creative idea, and I actually loved it, and I loved doing this challenge. Again, kind of the crazy part is the first room took me the longest to figure out, mainly with that barricade and that bunker. So using that to overcome the jackals in that hallway. So luckily was able to figure that out and proceed on, but that literally took half the time of the challenge, was just that part. Was not expecting that. I was really expecting the brute room to take me the longest, but luckily with the regens and the brute chieftain acting up and a little bit of RNG, I was able to push through and continue on to the end of the mission and complete it in a little bit under 2 hours. So if you guys enjoy Halo challenges, I'm going to proceed doing Halo challenges and Halo videos for you all, and I really hope you do consider subscribing. Literally like 99.8% of my viewers aren't subscribed that watch my videos, so really please consider subscribing. I do put a lot of work into these videos and challenges, so I really hope you do enjoy them. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and let the video play out and show you my time and on Legendary of how long it took me to do this challenge. Hope you guys all have a good rest of your day.